that's not fiction, you're just writing like your own history of Jamaica. So you've got to have fiction, that's what fiction is. And I thought, oh, okay. So what am I going to write about that's fiction, that's going to be interesting? And I thought, well, I'll tell you what I thought. I wrote Pal, and when my mum read Pal, she said, she read the early drafts, she said, well, I can see where you got the idea, but your father wasn't anywhere near as clever as Pal. He wasn't anywhere near as successful as Pal, and he certainly wasn't anywhere near as funny as Pal. So I got this idea. So Pal is 14 years old, he's Chinese, he goes to Kingston, and he grows up to become the godfather of Chinatown. So the idea, I'm not saying Pal's my dad, Pal's, I mean my mum was very clear about that, but the idea of Pal, the idea of a Chinese man running around Kingston, being the godfather of Kingston, was where the idea came from. So I wrote Pal, and we sent it into Bloomsbury, decided to buy it, and at the end of Pal, in the original draft, Pal dies. But the editor who bought it at Bloomsbury said to me, no, Pal shouldn't die. He shouldn't die at the end. Because I didn't know I had a second book in me, you see, so I just... So she's like, no, Pal can't die. So I said, well, what are we going to do? So, I said, well, I was thinking, because a central figure in Pal is called Gloria, so I was thinking we'd have a second book, Gloria, and she physically leant forward like this. And she said, there's going to be a second book. So I said, well, yes, I thought it would be Gloria. And she said nothing more, except weeks later when the contract came, it was for a 2-book deal at Bloomsbury, and the second book was for Gloria. And that was how I found out that she decided. So that was completely unseen. There was no synopsis, that I'd never said anything. I had no idea what was going to be in this book. So Gloria appeared, and then halfway through Gloria, everybody decided that this is a 3-part story. It's Pal, okay, and his relationship with Gloria Campbell, and then his relationship with the wife. Okay, so the wife is called, because Gloria's not the wife, okay? So the wife is called Fei Wong, and so here came the 3rd book. So what we've got is actually 3 standalone books, so you can read them in any order. They're like a whole story in itself, but they're linked. Right? So the characters are linked, and some of the instances are linked. So you get the same thing from Pal, his version of the story, then you get Gloria's version of the story, and in lots of places they're quite different, how the same instance happens. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce them to you. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Okay, so this is the beginning of Pal. This is how Pal meets Gloria at the beginning of the book. 1945, this is Kingston. Me and the boys were sitting in a shop talking about how good business was and how we need to hire up some help. And that is when she showed up. She just appeared in the doorway like she come out of nowhere. She was standing there with the sun shining on her, showing off this hat. Well, it was more like a kind of turban like the Indians wear, only it looked 10 times better than that. Or maybe it just looked 10 times better on her. She got on this blue dress that looked like I must have sewed it up with her already inside of it. And a pair of high heel shoes I never before seen her like her. I almost feel embarrassed that she